Hi everybody. How is everybody tonight? We're just waiting on Corey, but he's also a photographer, so he had a job just before this. So he said he's going to be a teeny bit late, but he should be here in a few minutes. Hey Jess. Hey Dee Dee. Hey Nas. Hey Dima. Thank you. You can get this shirt on my TeePublic store for my Turtlegirl jewels, which you should all go check out. Yes, for those who have never seen this show that we are going to be talking about today, this is an American TV show that came out in the 1990s, specifically 1994, and it was on the Nickelodeon network on their preschool program called Nick Jr., and it's a show about the Gullah Gullah people from the Sea Islands in the Carolinas. And it is about an island where a very nice couple called in the show, they're called the Alstons. In real life, they're called the Dazes. Miss Natalie and Mr. Ron. And they had a house on this island that all the kids would come to. And they all would learn about the Gullah Gullah culture. But as well, they would learn about other people's cultures as well. And it was a very multicultural show. They had a pet pollywog. His name was Binya Binya. And it was a very good show. It was about African American representation on TV. And it was a great show for kids. And it was very educational. And it taught you about the culture. And it even taught you some Gullah Gullah words. And yeah, it was very steeped in the culture of the Sea Islands. Hello, everybody. Glad you could show up and hang with us. There we go. Yay.
Man, oh, Aisha, please forgive me.
No problem.
Please forgive me. I technically challenged until now. Like I feel like my mother. Like this is crazy. This is crazy. Like just the connections and all. It's crazy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How was your shoot?
It was great. Very busy. I literally just walked in the door. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Busy, great. It was down in Virginia, which is like an hour away, so I had to rush back north. Yeah, back up north here to Maryland and sit and chat with you. How are you?
I'm great. Where in Maryland are you right now?
So I'm about 20 minutes outside of DC in a urban town called Upper Marlboro.
Okay. Speaking of Upper Marlboro, I'm actually in Upper Marlboro myself. I'm staying.
Okay.
I'm staying with my mom. I've been staying with my mom this summer, and she's helping the Patuxent River Keeper, who is like the caretaker of the Patuxent River, out in Upper Marlboro. And so she's been staying here and helping him. Like, turn out kayaks and do a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Oh, I've been up here for a while, so that's.
I didn't even know. Like I didn't even know that. That's awesome though. Yeah, I like it. It's quiet. I like it quiet. It's like a little escape from the city.
Yeah.
And then the city's, it's right there as well. So I love the area. I haven't been here too long, but I love the area. I like that it's in the middle of a lot of different things. Let's see who's in here. Who's in here?
A lot of people.
Say what's up. Say
lots and lots of people.
So I don't do this. So I don't
either. So when you were like, let's do this, I was like, okay. And then I was like, wait, I don't even know how to get on. I'm like confused. I'm like really good with technology. And then when this happened, I was like, what? But
you know what? It's to be honest with you, it's really humbling, know, because you think and then you're just showing your parents, they got, how do I work this? How do I turn the camera on? and you just like, yo, this is really easy. And then, you know, you have an interview on Instagram Live and you can't get on, you request, it's crazy. But,
It's a lot.
before we begin, I just want to say, I appreciate you sitting down and chatting. This has been a long time coming. A lot of people asking for years, to sit down and talk about the show, and whatnot. And so, congratulations, you are the first for the exclusive. So let's do this.
Thank you. Yes, this has been a long time coming. I know for myself and anybody else in the chat who is a 90s kid who grew up watching like Nickelodeon and watching, Nick Jr. if they were young enough.
Yeah.
They remember the show. The show was really impactful because it was I think it was only it was like the second Black show on Nickelodeon at the time. I think there was only one other Black show on there at the time, and this was like the second one that came out. And then they had like All That and Kenan and Kel, but I think this was like the second one to come out. Yeah. So it was like a big deal. And I think the reason it was so impactful for people was because it was about a culture that a lot of people didn't know about. Like they didn't really know about the Sea Island culture or about the Gullah Geechee people.
Right.
It was like a lot of learning. Plus it was like a very multicultural show. So there was like a lot of the cultures being represented and everybody was like getting their shine. So it was really cool to see.
Aisha, you're amazing. You've literally just put the entire interview in a nutshell. Gullah was and is amazingly influential, not only now, but in the 90s. And it has actually taken me up to this time to actually see the impact that it had on other people, which is why this interview was a great idea because, not a lot of people get to see the behind part. But to be honest with you, the whole interview in a nutshell, what you saw on camera, what you guys watched from your living rooms was literally how it was on set and off the set. So the impact, like I said, going back to the impact, you can't put a price on it. It's been amazing and it's still affecting people to today.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing because it definitely impacted me. I think I have a picture. It's my family went, or my mom and my older sister and some family went to the beach. And I think that I was like maybe 5. And I'm sitting there, my sister doing my hair. And what's on the TV? Gullah Island. And I think that's the testament to like, I'm 5 years old, but that was like one of my favorite shows because my parents, I grew up in a very like multicultural household.
Okay.
Black and Native American or Indigenous. And so for me, my parents were very much about like representation and like having TV shows that represented the culture and like represented seeing Black people on TV was really important to them. So the show was like really groundbreaking and important to our family because it was like one of those shows where you saw yourself in the characters.
Right. And I think obviously at 7 and 8, I couldn't appreciate this, but even now, just looking back at old episodes and people send me things and people tag me in episodes and just seeing, like you said, all the different ethnicities represented in Gullah. I mean, everybody made an appearance in Gullah, from the talent shows to regular episodes.
Right.
Every represented. And I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like we all grew up together. All Gullah people grew up together. We all felt like we were friends. And literally that's how it was on the set. So definitely.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So I guess we'll start with how you got into acting and how you got on to Gullah Island and if you watched the first season before you got on.
So the short version of a very long story. So my mom and dad, who are absolutely amazing, put me in pageants when I was 3 months old. 3 months old. And they put me in pageants. I did pageants up to about 4 years old. And from there, an agent saw me at a pageant that I had won. And from there, it just really took off. I went into commercials, doing print work for all kinds of different, magazines and brochures and books. And so at around 6, around 7, you know, I started getting calls for, you know, to audition for other things, more serious roles and whatnot. 95, Gullah called.
Don't worry, Nature. We'll clean you up real nice. Yeah, Nature, don't you worry.
And it's funny, I wasn't really familiar with Gullah. Being that I was so busy as a child actor and model, you know, there wasn't a lot of time to just watch TV. But if anything, I messed with Barney. So
okay,
on here, you know, I was a Barney kid. So, you know, the Gullah kids, okay, cool. But, you know, in 94, 95, I was with Barney. And so if I had time to watch anything, it was Barney and stuff like that. So, you know, fast forwarding to the audition and whatnot, which was crazy because check this out. So this is a little inside scoop. This is crazy. I've never really talked about this, you know. But this is good. Y'all just rock with me for a little bit. So I auditioned for Gullah in 95. And, you know, for those who don't know, when you audition, you know, you slate, you give your name, you give your age, you give your agency, you know, that's representing you and whatnot. And so, you know, then it goes on to script reading and whatnot. And so with me, they asked me, you know, did I have a special talent? So now let me give y'all at 7 years old, forget it. I was the most hyper, I was the most outgoing person ever meet. I talked to strangers. My mom told me all the time she hated taking me to grocery stores because I talked to everyone. And so when they asked about my special talent, I told them I could sing. Could I sing? Not even a little bit. And so they said, okay, cool. You know, sing us a song. Do you know I sung the Barney song?
Okay.
For a Gullah Gullah Island.
Okay.
So long story short, they loved it, and that's it. The rest is history. So that's how I found out about Gullah by actually auditioning for the show, doing the research, and landing the part.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Shout out to Barney. Barney was that guy.
Yeah. Shout out to Barney. I see. You know, somebody just put the purple hearts.
Yes.
I love purple hearts. Yeah. You know, I was with Barney. You know, that's that. So we ain't gonna get into.
I got to. Yes.
Yeah.
So how was it once you got on the show and meeting all the kids and meeting Miss Natalie and Mr. Ron, which I still call them that because literally, like, that's how I grow up with them.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Like, wired to call them that.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Being respect the elders, so I'm like calling them by that. But
absolutely.
How was it actually working on the show and being a part of the cast once you got on?
So coming on, when I came on, I was the youngest. Other than Simeon, who was a baby.
Yeah.
Other than Simeon, I was and actually Simeon's older sister Sarah, she was a little bit. I think me and Sarah were like the same age, but I was one of the youngest. So going on, it was literally, like I said, on set, off set, whatever you saw on camera as lively and singing and dancing, that's literally how the set life was. And that's how it was. You know, we were kids. They allowed us to be kids, and so that's literally how it was. I felt like I was going to work from sun up to sundown, taping all day, but it didn't feel like a job. You know, it didn't feel like a job because, like I said, they created an atmosphere, an environment that was very child friendly. It was great, and Ron and Natalie, Mr. Ron and Miss Natalie, were like an extension of my parents. Because you gotta understand, when you're on set and you're filming, your parents they're not there on set, and so Ron and Natalie, Mr. Ron, Miss Natalie, were an extension of my parents on the set, and like I said, I was extremely hyper, and I couldn't deal, and so I was the one who was playing with the set, during playing with the set, and picking up the grass. Like that was me. Like I was literally a 7-year-old. I wasn't like this businessman. I was. I was a kid. So they were amazingly talented. And what I respected about them most is that, like I said, they were genuine on set and off set. So yeah, shout out to Mr. Ron and Miss Natalie.
Shout out. Yeah.
They raised us.
Yeah. Definitely. All the kids watching all over the world definitely raised us. Like, yeah, they were amazing.
Yeah,
And I feel
absolutely.
like after I started posting like clips of like Gullah Island on my Instagram, that Miss Natalie started like commenting about, oh, she would write down like, okay, so this is what happened this day, or this is the people that are in this video. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Like,
So many stories. I could talk for days. The book is coming, by the way. But yeah, I could talk for days about Gullah, and the impact it had on all of us, the impact it had on America.
right.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So, did you work with any of the, or I guess hang out with any of the other kids from other shows that were on Nickelodeon at the time? And how was it working in Florida at Universal Studios at Nickelodeon Studios? Because I have to ask that as a 90s kid, because all of us are like, we wish we could have gone there. Now it's closed. And we're like, wow,
Yeah.
maybe it'll open back
Yeah.
up one day.
Yeah. The Nickelodeon question. Nickelodeon was literally a childhood's Hollywood. It was amazing. Like, I mean, everything that you could think it was. I think what I enjoyed most, even at 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, I think what I enjoyed most was the fact that back then you could tour Nickelodeon Studios. Like, so you could like walk through and watch, shows being filmed, like all that, Kingdom Kid, Gullah, Allegro Window,
Mm-hmm.
all of the shows you were able as a visitor, in the park, you were able to the behind the scenes look. And so I remember filming and whatnot, and then I would see the guests,
Mm-hmm.
um, walking by and whatnot. I remember that being, I remember that bringing me so much joy. You know what I mean? Because it was one thing to be acting and performing to a camera, but when you were able to see live fans, that was amazing. I did always run into Keenan and Kel,
Yeah.
cast from all that. Yeah, because shows are taped during seasons, and so you
Right.
have one
Okay.
season where Gullah's being taped, and then, but there were times occasionally where we'd be taping at the same time, and then you would see them and they see you, and we would share wrestling, and so it's one big family. To be honest with you, it's just one big family. So that was all fun, being watching all that, being a fan of all that, and
Yeah.
seeing the cast and whatnot. So that was great. That was awesome.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
I'm jealous because when I was a kid, I was like, I definitely want to go to
Yeah,
Florida and like
yeah,
go see a taping of something, but that
yeah.
didn't happen. So
The studios was awesome. Like
yeah,
it really was. It was awesome. It was, like I said, it was like childhood. Like it was like a Disney World. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But it was Nickelodeon, which is better. But no, it was great. It was great. It was great. I missed that.
I do too. Um, so did you keep in touch with any of the cast after the show ended? And like, were you close outside of the show with any of the cast? Like Shayna, who played your best friend, or Sarah, or
Yeah.
Simeon, the younger cast, I guess.
Right. So we were so busy taping. Um, a lot of your outside life was like, with family, especially at that age. A lot of your outside life was with family, and things of that sort. So there wasn't too much hanging out outside of the show. As a family, we did a lot of things together. So we have a lot, barbecues and things of that nature. And so, that kept us close. Fast forward to now, if it wasn't for social media, you know what I mean? Like it would be lose touch. But in recent years we haven't talked much. But we follow each other on Facebook, and we're friends on Facebook and things like that. So that's how we keep in touch. But
Cool. That's
Gullah
awesome.
Kids, amazing things. All of them. I mean, there's 100 Gullah kids that were on Gullah.
I know.
But they're doing amazing things. So yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to the whole cast.
I know. Because Sarah commented on one of my posts, and
Okay.
then the original Shayna we're like Instagram friends now, so
Okay. Yeah.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
But also, how was it when the original Shayna, whose name is Shayna, obviously, and the season 4 Shayna, Tristan. How was the difference between, if there was one, there probably wasn't, but if there was one, what was the difference between acting with one person and acting with another person?
That's a good question. So, you know, at 7 and 8, there's really no difference, to be honest with you. Right. Shayna went on to do amazing things, and Tristan came in and just, you know, filled the role. So at 7, you know, 7 and 8, there wasn't much to think about, you know what I mean, to decipher. It was just kind of like, okay, Corey, this is your new best friend.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's that. And, you know, I don't want to say it's easy, but they made it easy. You know, they made it easy on us. They made the transition easy because we were just able to be ourselves. And I think that's what I appreciate most about the experience is that I never remember doing anything that I was uncomfortable with. And like I said, everything that you saw on camera, that was 100% of the time. We were singing, we were dancing, you know, we were inside the park, you know, at Universal, signing autographs and things like that. It was an amazing experience. But yeah, there was really no difference for me. Like I said, Shayna was great. Yeah. Tristan was everybody's friends. So it was great. Yeah, there was no difference. Tristan was a little bit closer to my age than Shayna was. Shayna was older. Yeah, so, you know, if there was any difference, it was that. But, you know, we were all the same, around the same age. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any, like, memorable moments on or off set during the time?
Memorable moments. I think that what I remember most or enjoying most was when we went to the park. So we would go so we would have a break. We would have lunch break and stuff like that. And we would go into Universal Park, you know, Islands of Adventure or whatever. And so we would go into the park and, you know, we would walk around together as a cast around. And I just remember kids just running up to us and, you know, asking for okay, now, so I'm 7 years old. So I cannot write, you know, my cursive is not the best at this point, right? And so I remember, you know, when kids would ask for my autograph, I would just write, this is funny, I would just write my name in really big letters. You know, but that's really, I was just going from what I know, you know, from what I do. And so, yeah, that was amazing. Just seeing the impact it had on, you know, all kinds of kids of all different, you know, races and different backgrounds and whatnot. I love that part of it. You know, that part of it. And, you know, I did some other things with, you know, Kids for Character, which I'm not familiar with, but Kids for Character was a child video, much like Gullah, but it was a video. Yeah. And so, you know, other kids will recognize me from that as well. So I played my on that. Shout out to Kids for Character.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think? We kind of talked about like what the impact is of Gullah Island, but what do you think the impact is of Gullah Island in 2021? Like, do you think parents are still showing the show to their kids? It's now on Paramount Plus, so people can stream it on the internet. So they can stream it on the streaming service.
Paramount Plus. Yes.
90s kids are like introducing to their kids, and there's like still like that love and that like admiration for the show.
Yeah, I think that Gullah taught us lessons at 7 and 8 that we could literally apply to our lives now. Mm-hmm. Being respectful to others, recycling, you know, being environment conscious. Like I said, being respectful to others. I'm going to repeat that.
Yeah.
And so there were lessons in every episode. A lot of conflict resolution. If you remember, you know, they would give us examples of real life. Mm-hmm. So it taught us, it raised us. And so I feel like even fast forward to now, you know, parents are able to, the same lessons that taught us, you know, parents are able to teach to their kids now. Just because the generation, the ages have changed, the show is still available. You know, so it's a show that can be passed down and impact every age. So I feel like the impact we'll never know. It'll be ongoing. I say it all the time. But Gullah lives forever.
Yes, it does.
You know, the lessons and the things that we learn, it lives forever. And so I feel like parents should cultivate that, and it most definitely needs to be on, network television now. That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. So
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember any like Gullah culture or Gullah words that you learned on set? Maybe from Mr. Ron or Miss Natalie or anything?
You know what? I remember my solos. I do remember that. And I think the songs, if anything, is what I remember most when it comes to things of that nature. I remember classics like Jump In, Jump Out. You remember Jump In, Jump Out?
That was fun.
Jump In, Jump Out was the end all be all for me. That was my.
I know people in like business suits.
That was my. Jump In, Jump Out was my song. The Recycle show where I had a solo, that episode as well.
She care for Mother Earth, Mother Earth, Mother Earth. She care for Mother Earth, 'cause she cared for us.
So yeah, the songs really stick with me. I'm trying to think of another one. There's just so many. You're gonna make me go.
So
I've never really, 30 years later, it's just to see, to see it. It's just like, it's still surreal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Still surreal. And so that's why I feel like the impact will always go on. Always go on.
Yes. And I still say like tanky all the time because I'm like, they used to say it all the time. And
let's have comment your favorite song.
Yes, comment your favorite song or your favorite
song. Y'all gotta remind me. This is, I'm almost 40 years old, so y'all gotta remind me. This is a long time ago. Let me see what they're saying. Jump In, Jump Out. I'm telling you, that was fun.
That was the best one. I remember the episode when you first came in and it was the episode where Shayna was like, they were telling her how she was going to have a new friend that was coming into the neighborhood, but she was all nervous because she was like, I don't know if you're going to like me. And so then she ended up drawing you a picture and you guys like hung out. And then she was like, oh, well, he's not that bad. So he's like a good friend. And then you guys became best friends. And
yeah. I remember that. And that was actually, so Jump In, Jump Out was the second episode. So the first episode, I was an astronaut. We were playing imaginary games. Yeah, we were playing imaginary games. And then the second episode is when my television mom, shout out to my television mom. She introduced me to Shayna and whatnot. And so that, neighborhood friends and then the rest is history. Yeah, so we have Jump In, Jump Out. That was my song. My name is Corey. Look at that's my cousin. That's my cousin, Corey. Yep, that was it. That was my little solo. So yeah.
Yep. And the little talent show, and then when you guys did the goo toss where you had the little egg and you had to like toss it across to Mr. Ron, but you had to do it without getting all like messy because that like goo inside. Right.
Yep. The talent show. I remember that. You know what? Funny thing about the talent show. So this is exclusive. Like this, y'all not even gonna know. The talent show was crazy because with the talent show, all of our families were in the talent show. Okay. Yeah. So like that was my parents were in that episode. My sister was in that episode. Nice. And so that was awesome. That they were able to pull our family in and join in the experience.
That's dope. I always thought
that's a little exclusive,
but I didn't know. Maybe, but that's awesome. That's so dope. Like I think family needed to be like included in the show because I feel like Gullah Gullah Island, even though it was for preschoolers. It was a show that like families could watch together and learn so much from, because all of the
Absolutely.
lessons were so like timeless, and the culture that you guys were learning, and just like the fun in games is not just for kids. Everybody can have fun.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, the lessons were timeless. It was a show that, you could watch as a family. And to be honest with you, even now it's an entertaining show. And I think um people, like I said, of all different backgrounds and nationalities to be represented, I think that's what makes the impact timeless, and it'll just go on forever.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Okay, so what was it like working with Binya Binya?
Oh my God. It was so everything that you can imagine it was at 7, 8. That's literally how it was. I mean, on and off set, it was a dream. You know what I mean? Like it was a dream. I mean, this is Benya we're talking about.
Yeah, right.
And so it was amazing. Like, it's like walking around your best friend like all the time. Because being time together, you understand what I'm saying? Like it's like being with your best friend all the time. But the childhood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can be wrong. He's Benya,
Right.
and so he's Benya, and so it was amazing. And I do want to say R.I.P.
Right.
Who played Benya. Amazingly talented, young man. I have nothing but good memories, like I said, on and off set of him. So R.I.P. Philip. R.I.P. Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And do you remember there was like a season where there was Binya Binya, but then there was like a pelican that was on the show too?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was only on there for I think he was only on there for like a season, but it was like interesting.
I want to say 97, 98.
Yeah.
He made some appearances. Yeah, I remember the pelican. But yeah. Funny stuff. Good stuff.
So, so during the time, what kind of like cultural lessons did you learn? Did you actually visit anybody who was Gullah Geechee from the actual Sea Islands while you were filming? Did you get to go? Because I know like during the show they had like the in-person moments where they would go off into like the city. They would go to like the Charleston market, or they would go to like a different place in Charleston to actually go visit like the culture and see the people. Was there any of that for you? Did you end up going down to the Sea Islands to meet anybody?
So I was not on those episodes. So I enjoyed those episodes when they would go to the marketplace in the city. Yeah. They would go to the beach and things like that. I enjoyed those as a fan. Just just like a fan would. And so I would watch those and learn from the lessons that they were teaching. On the beach that day or in the market and whatnot. And so I never was on those episodes, but like I said, I enjoyed them, just like the normal Gullah fan would.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So after Gullah Island, did you continue on with acting, or did you, that was your end and like you were done with acting after that and that was just like the be all? I know, which would be a good end, I would say, but
yeah. Right. So, like I said, I did some print work for Vogue magazine. I did some work with them. I did some work with Keenan and Kel, actually.
Nice.
So they can remember, I did an episode of Keenan and Kel. And so, around that 98, 99 year or so, I started transitioning into like sports and things like that. What I appreciate most about my parents, shout out to my parents again. What I appreciate most about them is always a choice for me. It was always, okay, we have this audition, Corey. Now I know this is hard to believe, talking to an 8-year-old, but this is this is the conversations we had. So you have this choice, Corey. You can go to football practice, or you can go to this audition. And so at 8, 9, you know what I'm choosing. And so so to sports a few years after Gullah. And so, from then on, I did, like I said, some more print work and whatnot. And then I went to college. And yeah, so here we are.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I see how it came in handy when you started doing photography, because you were already part of like doing print work. And so you saw in these magazines like what people did when they were taking pictures of people. And so I see how that really worked in your favor, because I've seen some of your work and it looks beautiful and amazing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. The childhood and the acting in the modern played a significant role into, the business that I have now, like you said, photography. My whole life I've really been in front of the camera. Growing up pageants, and like I said, transitioning into commercials, and then with Gullah and King and Kel and Vogue, I've always been in front of the camera. So I've been, for the most part, comfortable in front of the camera. With age and maturity and whatnot, I've become a little bit more introverted to where I feel like I have more of an impact behind the camera.
Okay.
And so I feel like what I'm able to do is I'm able to push people outside of this box that, we like to be in, this creative box that we like to be in. And so, all of the work, from my childhood and the pageants and all of these things have made such a significant impact on, the creative space I'm in now. And so I can't be anything but humbled and thankful for, all the experiences and Gullah especially. So absolutely. And I thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate
of course.
that. Yeah. And as an artist, it is it's always good to receive compliments. It's one thing to always be booked, and so, and all that's good. But for people to just, I enjoy your work. I enjoy your eye. I enjoy your art. It's, for an artist, I feel like that's one of the ultimate compliments. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have the chat ask any questions that they would like. If you have any questions, put them in the chat and we can try to answer them.
We can try.
We'll try. And we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would want the audience to know about Gullah Island, about your photography work, about anything really, like being on a Black TV show, like anything that you want them to know?
So I'm going to tell everything. I have a book. It's coming.
Okay.
We speaking it. It's coming. And so the ins and outs, how I got started in the business. Like I said, I gave you the short version. But how I got started in the business, how I transitioned through pageants and, agencies, working with agents, and things like that. It's going to come. It's going to be amazing. I think that it'll be an inside look that, not everybody gets to see. And so questions that people have been asking me for literally 20 years, me and my parents, about the business and whatnot, it'll, all that'll be covered. Okay, let's see. Did your parents, this is from Sharna.
Okay.
Shout out to Sharna. Sharna is a wildcat. Okay, so that's my alma mater, the Great Bethune University, in Daytona Beach, Florida. Sharna is a wildcat. So that's my friend. Did your parents handle all of the contracts, or did you have an agent? So, like I said, we're going to cover that in the book, but yes, they handled the contracts, my parents, but with influence, from agencies and whatnot, that, whoever was representing me for that specific job. But my parents were 110% involved. And so, because that's important. We've seen, in Hollywood and things of that sort, it can get tricky. And so, like, I appreciate my parents for their dedication, their attention to detail and whatnot. So when it comes to that, so good question, Sharna. All right, what else? You want to read the next one?
Okay, from MJ, we're going to say, where would the book be available once it is finished?
All outlets. We'll have it on all, we'll have it available all outlets. More details and more information to come. Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate that. What do we
Yes,
have
thank you,
next?
MJ.
Oh, here are all the look at all the cats in the house. Hell, wild cats. We in here. We're in here.
From Dee Dee, what was your first camera?
Dee Dee. Good question, Dee Dee. So I started with a Rebel, with a Canon Rebel. Shout out to Canon. I only shoot Canon. So if you're in here and you shoot Nikon, I'm sorry. Shout out to Canon though. A Canon Rebel T5. So
Okay.
it was a Rebel T5. Which I still have. I actually still have my Rebel. I don't shoot with that
Nice.
now, but yeah. So good question, Dee Dee. What else do we
Any
have
more
here?
questions? Okay. What started your love of photography?
Good question. So like I said, being in front of the camera, and then like I said, transitioning into this introverted Corey, I still wanted a way, I needed an outlet to be creative still. And so, being that that is what I'm familiar with, it was an easy transition to pick up the camera and to have that eye because, like I said, I've always been on the other end, but watching, so you subconsciously learn, what people are looking for, and how to get a vision for, certain projects and whatnot. And so, I think the love just came from, from the childhood, being in front of the camera and whatnot. And being that I, became a little bit more introverted, I still wanted a creative outlet. And so picking up a camera was no question. No question.
Nice. For me, it's writing, so I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Plug all that stuff. Like, where can we find more of your writing and stuff like that?
So right now you're on my Instagram, but you can go to my blog, which is iceturtlegirl.blog. It's
Okay.
where I write my blog. And so
Okay.
it's kind of random, but it's basically just like my thoughts and feelings about the world. So
Yeah.
it's out there so people can read it. And yeah.
I feel like that is so important for us to come up with a creative outlet. I feel like, we're working, we're doing all these things throughout the day and whatnot. I feel like we should all have some type of creative outlet, some type of art, painting, photography, blogging, writing. I feel like it's important. I feel like
I
it's
agree.
important not, to not hide that and that part of us because it's in us all. It's just how we how we choose to share it.
Exactly.
Music is important, so
Yes.
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Okay. What is your favorite part about being behind the camera?
Favorite part. I love having an impact on someone's vision. I love being able to have a part in bringing that vision or that concept to life. A lot of times I don't really identify as a photographer. I don't really identify as an entrepreneur. I identify as a creator because I'm able to visually put things together, put concepts together, and so I would say that's my absolute favorite. When someone's vision for a project comes together, that would be my favorite part about being behind the camera. That's a good question as well. Oh, we rolling now. Let me scroll up. We're rolling. What do we have next?
Would you ever want to get back into acting?
Would I ever want to get back into act? I think where I am now, from a creative standpoint, I enjoy being behind the camera so much. And so many different things have changed since 7 and since 8. Just the Gullah Corey.
Right.
As far as personality wise, like I said, I'm much more introverted now. But so many things have changed. So I feel like I'll never say never, but I like where I am. I like where I am from a creative standpoint. But acting is such a beautiful business. It is it's such a beautiful business, acting and modeling. So I'll never say never.
If they had a Gullah Gullah Island like reboot and they had all the kids come back, but they were parents now, would you do that?
No question.
Okay.
No. Let's write it up.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we shouldn't be talking about it. I'm still out here. But
yes.
no question. If they call, I'm coming.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
What would you tell parents today with kids interested in acting?
To buy the book. Everything. Well, my journey. I can only talk about my journey. My journey. I don't think is any different from any other child actor or model, and so all of those tips and tricks and whatnot, because there's so much detail. That's a great question, but there's so much detail in the answer, and so I'll have my journey and the way I got into the business, but I would say know your child. Know your child. I think that my parents were blessed. They took a chance and kind of just threw me on stage with pageants and whatnot from the beginning. And we were just so blessed. And my personality just back then, my personality just gelled, with the camera. And so, but know your child, know your child, because, it's just not for, it's not for every child.
Right.
And like I said, I'll have more information about that with the YouTube channel that I am coming out with.
Okay.
Also in the book that's coming as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
how did your experience on Gullah shape you who you are today?
Let me see. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How did my experience on Gullah shape me to who I am today? Like I said, I feel like Gullah raised us. And you know what, to be honest with you, just because I was on the show, I was a fan as well. I was a fan as well. And so the lessons and the songs and the conflict resolution and all that all the things that, you learn, sitting in your living room, I learned as well. And so to treat people right, respect for others and all of these things, I feel are still impacting me today. Like I said, Mr. Ron and Miss Natalie, they taught us, like, they were an extension of our parents. And so, like, the impact is timeless. It'll go on forever. I'll never forget, the lessons that the show taught me.
Cool. Okay, so this one, I think this one is more of a personal question.
Okay.
But they said, how annoyed were you by me in high school after I learned you were on the show? LOL, I seriously have told everyone since high school I went to school with a celebrity, and I graduated in 2005.
Let me see who. Okay, let me scroll up and see who wrote that.
Yes. Somebody who went to high school with you.
Rachel. Okay, Rachel was my best friend in high school. Okay. Cool, right? So, one of my best friends in high school. Rachel, amazing woman, amazing mother. Shout out to Rachel. So what's the question? What is her question?
She doesn't have a question, but she just wants to know how annoyed you were with her after she learned you were on the show.
Let's see. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the most annoyed, I got so many. Shout out to Deltona, Florida. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
That's my hometown. And so, I mean, everybody knows about Gullah. And so the questions were constant. Even up through high school, that's when it became a level 10 on the annoying scale when I got to high school. Because I'm just like, okay, this was, this is years ago now. Like, let's forget it. You know what I mean? I appreciate it now, but back then I was just like, please just stop asking me. And so, but no, it was all gravy. Even now, when I go back home, it's still the same, and I love it. I love it. I appreciate it. Like I said, Gullah lives forever. And we're all family. Indeed, we're all family.
Nice.
Yeah.
But she has a serious question.
Okay.
Where do you recommend me start with my 7-year-old daughter who already has a passion and dream to become a child actress? These days, it seems any agency I find wants thousands of dollars up front.
Yeah. So like I was saying, there's so much detail in that answer. We would be on here talking for so long, especially even now with my experiences with agents, and clients that have agents and whatnot. So that answer is so detailed. But like I said, I'll have a lot of information coming to you guys, like I said, from via YouTube, and I'll have a book about my journey, giving you an inside look, so that way you can apply it to you and yours. So I got you, Rachel. It's coming.
I don't see any more questions, but
Okay.
if there's anything else you want to tell the people, to tell them to look out for, to tell them about your experience or your journey, you have the floor.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I want to thank you. I used to like this.
Of course.
Amazing. Like I said, you are the first. And there have been, ones who asked before. But you are the first. So I want to thank you, for your time. I want to thank everybody who's on, who's logged in with us, who's sat down with this chat. I want to say that, like I said, I want to encourage everyone to find that creative outlet. Like I said, whether that be through music, photography, writing, blogging. I think that's just so important. With everything that we have going on, we need an outlet. And so I really feel like that's important. So if you leave with anything, I encourage everyone to find it and strive for it. Strive for it. Definitely. Who's on in here?
A lot. 19 people.
Let me see. I gotta go to the Okay. So, this is my god brother, Sydney, bro.
Oh, okay.
Pageant you could think of. Yeah, pageant days were crazy. Just a quick tip: pageants are a good way to get into the business. Without really chasing agencies and whatnot. It's kind of like sports. They're recruiting all the time, and so pageants are they're like an NFL pro day, where you're able to showcase your talent in a way. But yeah, pageants was my way in. So like I said, I'll share that with you guys.
So MJ also asked, is there any other projects you can keep us up with until your book and channel come out?
MJ said, what was that?
Until we see your new channel and book, where can we keep up with you and your new projects?
Oh, my Instagram. My Instagram is my creative hub. That is where I share projects, things like that with you guys. And like I said, the channel and the book is coming as he. Yes. Let's see. Yes, she's one. Oh, here's a shout. A shout out to you. She's one of the sweetest people ever. She is indeed. Let us try to keep up with you. How do we keep up with you?
You can keep up with me through Instagram, obviously, and through my blog and through my YouTube channel, which is also Ice Turtlegirl.
Okay.
And I also have jewelry that I make.
Look at this.
Yes, and you can keep up with that through Turtlegirl Jewels. That's where you'll find like my Etsy page and everything.
Okay. Well, you can find all this information at your Instagram.
Yes.
Your link. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So if you just follow the link or click on my name on here, you can find all that information.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining us in our little chat.
Thank you.
Listen, we definitely have to do this again.
We do, and then we have to get more cast members to come on with us so they can talk about it and like reminisce.
Let's do it. I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
I'll see what you put me on the spot with that, but I'll see.
You'll reach out to some people.
See what I can do. I can see what strings I can pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's just a reason for me to hit up Mr. Ron and Miss Natalie.
And we have to get Nickelodeon to do like a 30th anniversary celebration some kind of way so that we can both go and like,
It's coming. We got to speak this.
Yeah, we got to. We got to celebrate the culture.
Absolutely. Right? I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank everybody for joining us. Aisa, again, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. You too.
You can find the show Paramount Plus. For the kids and whatnot. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got to find a way. Like I said, we got to get it on network.
Show it to your kids.
Definitely. Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. So, all right. You guys have a good night. Tomorrow, everybody's going back to work and whatnot. So, everybody
have a good Monday.
Absolutely. Have a good Monday, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye.